Okay, picture this. Imagine waking up in a place where your daily routine doesn't just, do less harm to the planet, but actually actively heals it. Today, we're cutting through the typical sustainability buzzwords. In this explainer, we are going to spend a chronological day in the life of a regenerative EcoHub, just to see exactly what this looks like in actual practice. But first, let's clear the air right out of the gate and bust a really common myth. An EcoHub? It's absolutely not some isolated doomsday survivalist bunker, and it's definitely not one of those greenwashed suburbs that secretly still relies on global extraction. No, it is an active, living ecosystem that is deliberately designed to restore the broken connections between people, the land, and our collective life.
So at its core, an EcoHub is a human-scale regenerative community. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it's not some finished, perfect utopia that you just pack up and move into. It's an ongoing practice. It's a constant, shared process of learning how we can actually live together in a way that revitalizes the systems all around us.
All right, part one, the living EcoHub and starting our day.
We're going to break this journey down chronologically today, walking through the morning, the noon, and the evening.
Before we even step outside into the morning air, I want you to really think about this. How does a daily, normal routine actually heal nature? Let's experience it firsthand.
Your morning begins waking up in a home built with what's called appropriate tech. You're totally surrounded by local materials, right? Think earth, bamboo, cleverly reclaimed items. The house uses passive energy design to stay comfortable, and every drop of water is captured through really smart harvesting systems. It's a deliberate, massive shift away from endless global extraction, and it focuses entirely on longevity and adapting perfectly to the local climate.
There's a guiding philosophy here. Humans are not separate from nature, community, or the wider living system. Basically, an EcoHub recognizes that a healthy external environment only comes from a healthy internal state. So your day kicks off with practices that deepen self-awareness and empathy. You're literally building a collective sense of responsibility before the heavy lifting even begins.
Moving into part two, active ecological healing and regenerating the land.
This regeneration cycle, this is the absolute heartbeat of the entire EcoHub. Step 1, you drastically reduce waste. Step 2, you transform whatever outputs you do have right back into resources, like turning organic waste into incredibly nutrient-rich compost. And finally, you use that compost to actively restore degraded land, rebuilding the topsoil and reviving local water cycles. Every single day, you are engineering the ecosystem to become measurably healthier than it was the day before.
Now, as you're out there working the fields or maybe checking the solar arrays, the ultimate goal is interdependence without fragility. The community is aiming for relative sovereignty. That means building deep, local resilience in food and energy, but totally dropping the unrealistic illusion that you can be completely isolated from the rest of the world.
To make this work, it requires a pretty radical mental shift. We are moving entirely away from extractive private ownership and land speculation. Instead, the whole focus shifts to collective stewardship and shared responsibility. The land isn't just some permanent personal asset on a balance sheet, it's a living entity that you are caring for across generations.
Okay, part 3, the afternoon's diverse, invisible work and finding value beyond the market.
So, in an EcoHub, a healthy community views invisible work as its literal foundation. Market profitability? That doesn't dictate value here. We're talking about tasks like childcare, emotional support, cooking, and conflict mediation. These are recognized as absolutely vital relational labor, and they are valued equally right alongside the physical ecological work you did in the morning.
You know how modern systems often force us into extreme hyperspecialization? Well, here, diverse human development totally thrives. Think about it. You might help build a bamboo structure in the morning, mediate a community conflict at noon, and then care for the kids in the afternoon. It cultivates an amazing mix of practical skills, broad ecological literacy, and super deep empathy.
And because of this incredibly diverse daily routine, education isn't just outsourced to some isolated institution. It's seamlessly integrated into daily life. Children, adults, the elders, they all participate in this shared multi-generational learning ecosystem, naturally preserving and evolving their culture and knowledge together.
Which brings us to part 4, the evening, focusing on community and networked autonomy.
As the sun sets, the community gathers for an evening meal sourced entirely from their local land. And here, the cultural shift becomes completely undeniable. Instead of status competition and sweeping conflicts under the rug,
You find genuine mutual aid and conflict transformation. It's truly a collaborative organism. Success is measured collectively. Are our people healthy? Is the land improving? Are our relationships actually resilient?
Now, 150. That is the magic number. EcoHubs inherently recognize that human social systems have real cognitive limits. If you want deep personal trust to exist, and if you want self-governance to remain humane, communities really need to cap out around 150 people. So, you might be wondering, what on earth happens when a hub gets too big?
Well, they practice something called networked autonomy. Rather than swelling into some massive centralized megastructure or just isolating themselves completely, they federate. Hubs connect with other hubs, building these awesome regenerative trade networks. They exchange knowledge, they share resources, and provide mutual aid, strengthening absolutely everyone involved without creating those fragile top-down dependencies.
And during these evening gatherings, they're also managing their local economies. But these are economies deliberately designed to reward regeneration, participation, and care, rather than just mere accumulation of wealth. The value actually circulates locally, making sure the entire ecosystem remains incredibly resilient and thriving.
As our day in the EcoHub comes to a close, it really shows us that every single action, no matter how small, can be designed to foster life rather than exploit it. So I want to leave you with this thought. How can we begin living regeneratively today? Look, you don't have to pack your bags and move into an EcoHub tomorrow, but whether it's valuing the invisible work in your own home or choosing cooperation over competition, what principle can you bring into your own community right now? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.